When's the last time you cried?
No, I lost my best friend this year, so it's still been a hard thing for me.
Just like mildly uncomfortable.
And then the bottom, it's not like I dislike anyone.
I'm tired. I'm depressed. I'm tired.
You go.
Okay. I'm tired. I'm just tired. I'm hurt.
Should men be more emotionally vulnerable?
Not too early in the relationship.
Why you say that?
Could be a turn off.
She really touched your heart, didn't she?
How are you doing?
Be a real human being right now for once, bro.
Slang_Wangers donate.
Oh, you don't even smile.
And we are all lost sometimes.
If I disappear, like, who cares? Nobody cares, man.
Fan. I hope it falls into place just how you planned it. Life could put you in a pickle, just make sure it's kosher. Lean on me like Bill Withers until you smell the roses.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. We got to talk about this clip. I'm glad I ran into this. This morning, me and my lady were out, and she's asking me about men being vulnerable, and I was like, it's the way it's going now. People don't get it, like. So, and I'm going to use myself as an example in certain points so I can get my message out on this. Boys weren't raised to cry, to be emotional and quote unquote. And then people go, we lack emotional intelligence. It's like, no, we have to suppress our emotions to problem solve. That's what you're taught at a young age. And a lot of times pain is relative. And you realize that some things hurt and some things hurt your feelings. That's not the same thing. And so when they say guys should be vulnerable, you see how guys are treated when they cry. But nobody talks about the circumstances that guys cry in. Like the guy in the beginning, he was like, was the last time you cried? It's like recently, basically his best friend died. And then the girl's, I can't be with somebody like that. But if her best friend died and she cried, it would be normal. See, that's the issue. You get what I'm saying? But I'm gonna say this: like when I was in second grade, actually when I was in second grade, I got my throat cut. I didn't cry. When I was in 7th or 8th grade, maybe, I forget which one, maybe 6th grade, whatever, I broke my wrist. And I didn't go to the hospital for like 6 hours. I broke my wrist at noon, and I didn't go to the hospital until like 6 something. You know what I'm saying? I didn't cry. I was in pain. I didn't cry. I could rewind, and when I was like 3 or 4, I got hit by a truck and broke my arm. Didn't cry, from my understanding. I don't remember that one. I got my shoulder separated playing football. Of course, didn't cry. This scar you see, on my eye, right here. I jumped in a pool on the short end, and it bust my face. But see that this whole side of my face was actually skinned off at the time. So I was two-faced. Didn't cry though. But when my grandfather died, I cried. See what I'm saying? My grandmother died, I cried. And then let's see, I can say this. When I was in college, I left my best friends to transfer to another school because I wanted an opportunity to do something. And when I left, I cried. Years later, that best friend got killed and on New Year's Eve, and he died on New Year's Day. And I cried. And what was that? 2 weeks later, my grandmother passed away, and I cried. You know, and those are my actually two best friends in the world. Like, so of course I cried. I was in college, and my family put me in a situation where I was living out of my car. That hurt, and I cried. I had a son, and I was happy about that. But, you know, baby mama drama, I got alienated from my kid. You know, I cried. I've watched some of my family and friends go through traumatic things. I've cried. My cousin got killed. Cried. Never said this in a sense, but when I said I graduated college and I didn't go to the graduation, and I went to New Orleans to be with my grandmother to celebrate it, and she took me to a graduation party for this young lady who graduated college. And they threw a party for a crawfish boil in the park, you know, DJ, fans, family, celebratory event. They were so proud of her. And I'm sitting there just looking bummy. I'm a college student or whatever. I'm like, wow, this is what people do for people who graduate. I went back home to my grandmother's house that night. You know, not out of any jealousy, but just out of the hurt. Like, I cried. It's like, yo, man, I can't believe this. I got cheated on, you know, because I had a girlfriend, and she left me for another guy during that time period because, you know, though I was going in the right direction, I wasn't working or whatever, you know, working it on my feet like that. So she found somebody else. She left me. Yeah, I cried about that. You know, I cried about being, you know, I got sick. I think I had an ulcer. I was coughing up blood or whatever. I didn't know what was going on at the time. I didn't cry about that, but this is why everything was going on, you know. I remember having walking pneumonia, and I was younger, and I didn't cry about that. My lady, her son passed away. And, you know, one of those, I'm talking to you 30 minutes later, you're not here type of situations. And just to watch how quickly things change like that, and the heartbreaking that I cried. You know, I was there with her every step of the way. People have gotten sick, and it's like they're not coming back. You know, shed tears for that. But unfortunately, you know, I've gotten sick. Not anything like cancer or anything like that, but I've gotten sick multiple times. And, you know, I didn't. It could have went either way, right? It could have went bad, and didn't cry. A person tried to. I got in a car wreck a few years back. Totaled my car, and that guy could have killed me though, because he was going fast, and just rear-ended me and just ran, you know, just rear-ended me. I had somebody in the car, so I didn't cry with that. I was hurt though. I was hurt. Physically, I was hurt. You know, I've had family and friends steal from me. Didn't cry about that. I've had people come to the aid of the family and friends that stole from me because they didn't want me to do what I was going to do to them. You know, I could say it now. You know, I literally have a friend who thought it was sweet, and he played me, and I just happened to see him at a gas station. I was about to pull over him and pop him, and I just happened to be on the phone with a friend, and she talked. She was like, "Don't do this, don't do that." She talked me down. He was just sitting there like everything was sweet. That was about to be his last day. Subsequently, me and him we got into it, but I punked him. He ain't want no issues. But I've gotten into it with like I said, family who stole and watched other family members have their back, and like, boy, if we, yeah, how real could it be? And the reason why I'm saying all these things, when you look at the guys in the clips, men don't tell you, we don't say all the things we've actually been through. And that's just a little snippet of, I never even talked about the adversities or the people who try to sabotage me or the things people try to do to make sure I didn't have a decent life. You know what I'm saying? Strangers, people who just being racist, some people who thought they was in a position, some people who just went out of pocket and did things. And, I think I told a story. I went to work one day. I dropped my kid off to summer camp and went to work, and some obese cop tried to pull me over and tried to shoot me, while I was in my work uniform and whatnot. And I'm like, I'm gonna step on you, dude. And, things like that. Went to a nightclub, went to my car, 4-5 squad cars pull up, bunch of white cops, of course, jump out. What are you doing? I'm like, getting in the car. Why are you running? I was like, 'cause it's cold. Like, oh, this could have went bad. It's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. Some people cry about stuff like that, It wasn't the first, second, third, fourth, fifth time. Like, I didn't get so many guns put on me by cops. I don't even keep count. But, I had a friend of mine almost got me killed multiple times when I was in high school. I didn't cry about any of that. You know what I'm saying? I'd say the story like I was literally, if you ever watched The First Friday, when Smokey and Craig was on the back of a pickup and they was driving by with guns and that's how they hid, I was in that situation literally. Nothing to cry about. You get what I'm saying? It's some other situation I can't even talk about, for real. But the things that a lot of us guys go through in life, people think sometimes it's a mental block or men are just too scared to be vulnerable. A lot of times, so if you've dealt with a lot of adversity, you forget how many things happened because you got to get over it. You got to push through the pain, and all the things that I said that happened. The thing that was consistent with all of those situations, whether you deem them as or dang, that's some real stuff, is I still had to do something the next day. Whether I was a child or a grown man, I still had to do something the next day. You know what I'm saying? I still had to, have a sound mind and make good decisions, and actually, at sometimes be a leader in situations where I really ain't got much for myself internally, but this has got to be done. You know what I'm saying? Broken down a few times. I was talking to my lady about, physically, because I'm a person that just works through pain regardless of what it is. And I told her, I said that one of the things that I've learned over the years was you got to learn how you can operate in pain. That's one thing that men got to do. You got to learn how to operate in pain because everything ain't going to be good. You're not going to always be healthy. You're not going to always be physically good. You're not going to always be mentally good. You're not going to always be spiritually good. You're going to have to get it done in pain. And us being vulnerable is a different thing because with all the adversity, all the things that could have happened and have happened and was done and all the things that could have broken us, that didn't or that did, and we still pushed on, at the end of the day, nobody cares. Like the guy near the end of that clip said, nobody cares. Like, if you're a man, life treats you like Drago. If he dies, he dies. Just make sure you leave me something at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to be vulnerable in a world where people don't care about your life or death. They care about the inheritance you'll leave them. You get what I mean? So, and you're not a good man until after you're dead. And then people add up all the things you've done. And I'll say that to say this, how vulnerable do you think Martin Luther King was and Malcolm X? And the reason I say that is because we don't even treat their memory with the respect that we should. and they were great men. You know, no matter, you know, I remember the story of Dick Gregory talking about. There's a picture of Martin Luther King when he's teary-eyed with Dick Gregory, and Dick Gregory says, Martin realized, he said, man, they gonna kill me. And Dick Gregory says his response was, well, better you than me. Think about that. Think about what was said to that man who sacrificed his life and realized he was about to sacrifice his life from somebody who should have been a friend. That was the best response he could give him. Our vulnerability is a little bit different. You know, it's football season. People are getting hurt. And we just, he messed up. Well, you got to get off my fantasy team. Like, we don't care about people like that. And men realize that we're looked at as replaceable even when we're irreplaceable. So our vulnerability ain't really high on the totem pole. And we get, you know, smacked on the back end for it. But I shouldn't have said back end, right? We just get smacked for it in life, even though we're human. But we're not viewed as human a lot of times. So I'm going to leave it at that, and y'all tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace. You ever been at the top of the universe? I'm going to tell you.